Perfect. Perfect.
What's going on, everybody? We're about to get started in about 3 minutes, so sit back, relax, make sure you utilize the poll that's up right now. Will Spider-Boy be the next Miles Morales? Let me know there, guys. I'm interested in hearing your thoughts. I see in the chat there's a few thoughts already put there, so we'll definitely talk about that. And as you can see here, we do have a giveaway going on today, so that's going to be fun. But see you in a few minutes, guys.
Perfect.
What's up, comic book community? It's me, Izzy, and here we are in our special Halloween edition, I guess you could say, of the show. Um, we're going to say what's up to everybody, but before we do, I'm going to introduce to you guys my special guest for this evening. He is the host of not one, but two great shows. The first one is the DC Deep Dive, where he goes over all the DC books. There should be a new episode dropping very soon. And on Wednesdays, every other Wednesdays, you can see him at Guess That Key with Legion of Comics, and he always has some fun guests. I did 2 shows already with him. I can't wait to do another one. I got a lot of good books for those shows. So I'm going to introduce him to you guys right now. Many of you know who he is, but if you don't know him, his name is Paul, but otherwise goes by Sector 2815. Let's bring him in.
Thank you very much. I appreciate that.
How you doing, Paul?
I am doing well. I'm doing well. Yeah, we had you on twice. I'm guessing that maybe the next time you're going to bring Spider Boy.
Yeah, maybe, right? Let's see what happens. The chat is already started with this whole Spider-Board thing, but we got to start off and say what's up to Las Cruces. Started at 12:44 p.m. this afternoon. He came in, and then, of course, he had to make sure he gets that second one in at 4:41. And then we got Trev, the shipping guru. Trev, I'm so excited to do your work. I got a really cool thing in mind for his book, so we're going to talk a little bit more. But he's off to work tonight. Woohoo! All right. And TM Nerdy says, I forgot. Who cares? Who cares on the poll? Right now, we only got 3 choices on the poll. So in case you don't know what the poll is, will Spider-Boy be the next Miles Morales? We're definitely going to talk a little bit about that. TM is saying what's up to me. He's saying what's up to Paul. He's saying what's up to Las Cruces. He's saying what's up to Trev.
As TM is wont to do.
And this stream is 50% DC right now. Also, don't forget to subscribe to Paul's channel. You gotta go with it, especially on Wednesdays, man. When you do Guess That Key, one of my favorite shows to watch while I'm watching AEW at the same time. So sometimes I end up watching your show, and then I just got the AEW screens. Like, oh, something's going on. No. Hey, we got Larry Green Machine. What's going on? There you are, right there. And there goes. Make sure TM is always there, man. And this is our first comment. Spider Boy, the next Miles Morales? Absolutely not. He's so damn annoying. Circumstances. Ryan, what's up, my peeps? Who else is on here? Let's see. I'm trying to see if I get someone that hasn't said. We got hashtag find Josh. I don't know when we're going to see Josh again, guys. I'll be honest. So we'll see what happens. But it's going to be a very interesting week this week in comics because it's actually not going to be a heavy week. Right. Last month it was a little more heavy at the end of the month, but this month it's like really light. So on all sides.
And it's because for DC, it's obviously tomorrow's the 31st. This is considered one of their five-week months. So so it gives them a chance to catch up, on a lot of their titles instead. So I think they have DC has the return of Superman, and then maybe 1 or 2 other things.
Yeah, it's like very, very small amount of books that are scheduled.
Not a lot of DC this week.
We'll talk about that. We'll get to the whole conversation about Spider-Boy because Spider-Boy is debuting this week. Ongoing series. They decided to go ongoing with that. But before we start talking about what's new, the way the game works is we talk about what's trending first. So let's go ahead and take this opportunity to talk a little bit about trending. So let's play that little video. All right, so this list is very interesting to me because I think from the books that are trending, some of them are holdovers from previous times, and then there's some here that is like, yeah, it's trending and stuff like that, but who really cares? This one right here, Jazz Legend #1 from Scout Comics. This talks a little bit about the story of Miles Davis. So have you ever heard of this book?
No, I haven't. I've heard of Miles Davis, obviously, but I had never heard of this book.
Yeah, so this there's rumors that it's going to be an adult animated series, so that's the reason why this book is in the list. It's just another one of many book titles that are getting picked up, but
Hmm.
nothing's there just yet. You know what I mean?
Right. I
So,
mean, the landscape is littered with comic books that have been optioned but never made.
mhm. And I feel like this one has potential because it's about Miles Davis. So, and I could see a very psychedelic version of this
Hmm.
happening. So, who knows? Fingers crossed on that one. That'll be very interesting. And get the kids to learn a little bit more about Miles Davis, who was
Hmm.
tremendous jazz performers from his time. We got Tyler. Tyler, you getting ready for that tattoo, man? Just saying. I'm waiting. I want to see it happen, man. I want to see it. I want a live feed. I want the
All of my incorrect key information comes from Key Collector, so it's I I stake no claims to that.
We got Bobby De La Ghetto. What's going on, Bobby? He's also in the house. S. Vaughn, yep, from Chattanooga. Let's see who else isn't who just showed up. Yep. And
Super
yeah,
Grover.
and make sure you hit that subscribe and like. All right. So Super Grover. Okay, cool. All right. Our next book here. This is another one of those books that it was in the list a few months ago. It's creeped its way back, and this is Incredible Hulk 256. What can you tell me about this book, Paul?
Well, just reading it, it says it has the first appearance of Sabra, and so it says that it is rumored that she's going to be in the next Captain America movie. I'm guessing that it's trending because
Mhm.
they have moved up the Captain America movie, and so now it's actually closer to being released, and so that may be why this is trending again.
Yeah, it appears that it's going to take that coveted first week of May spot that Marvel always has a tendency of controlling.
Right.
They've been controlling it since the very beginning, since they started. So that that was originally planned. Well, it was originally planned for another movie. Then Deadpool took that spot,
Hmm.
but it looks like Deadpool's not going to make that spot. So apparently, they did more work on the Captain America movie, so that's more likely to take that spot now. So
Hmm.
it would appear that this character, Sabra, who is a Israeli mutant, which I'm not sure if they're going to go towards that route in the movie. I'm sure they'll go the route that she's Israeli. I'm not sure if they're going to
Hmm.
go the route that she's a mutant, even
Right.
though it would make sense, right? Um, so this is her first appearance. It's actually not demanding too much money on a high. It's about a $30 book, so who knows? Our next book here, for I think this is for obvious reasons, G.I. Joe Real American Hero, features
Right.
the first appearance of almost all the Joes,
Right.
except Duke. So,
Yeah. I mean, if you're not on the Transformers GI Joe bandwagon by now, you may
mhm.
never get on. But yeah, can't go wrong with GI Joe and Transformers right now
Yeah,
in the
exactly.
Energon universe.
The Energon, and just look at all these first appearances.
Yeah, exactly.
It just keeps
It's
going and going.
it's it's like a Star Wars book. There's a million first appearances.
And here's another one that keeps popping up, and that's Fantastic Four 244. This features the first appearance of Frankie Ray, who becomes her name is Nova, even though she has nothing to do with Nova,
Mm.
right? So tell me a little bit about who is Frankie Ray Nova.
Oh, I wish I knew.
I'm catching the DC guy talking
It's
about
just like
Marvel.
just you see over here.
Well, believe it or not, Frankie Ray is Nova. She becomes a hero of Galactus, and
Okay.
unlike other heroes, she's more like Silver Surfer, where she's a good person, right? So she's
Hmm.
a good hero. She's looking for the best in people. So when she becomes a hero of Galactus, her agenda is to try to find planets for Galactus to devour that doesn't have people or habitats, right? So
Okay.
there is a rumor now that she is going to be part of the MCU, but that's one of those rumors that I don't know will see the light of day right now. Like, I can't
Okay.
imagine her being in the Marvels
So
because that's
she's
the only
pushing
thing I
for
can think.
Galactus to be a vegetarian.
In some way, yeah, that would
No
make
more
sense.
humans. No more
We gotta
meat.
go vegan. We gotta go vegan.
Yeah.
Gonna try keto diet, the Galactus.
Right.
I see some more people jumped into it. We got Freaky Louie. What's up?
Hey.
Freaky you. Look, we got Go Joe, and Bobby immediately says, "Hail Cobra." Digger Jim's in the house. What's going on, Digger Jim? Yo, Joe. All right. Now here comes a trend of X-Men books that have been popping up all over, right? The
Hmm.
apparently 129, 130, 131, now 133 are all of these are part of the Dark Phoenix saga, but each book has their significant importance. This one is the first solo Wolverine cover, and this
Hmm.
is really the only reason why this book is popular because Wolverine's in the cover by himself. Well,
Right.
is he?
Although it is part of the Dark Phoenix saga, so
Mhm. Yeah. So that's why it's here. I don't really understand the purpose behind it, other than it's just Wolverine in the cover. Maybe they're just people are just trying to get more Wolverine books.
yeah. I mean, with the once the writers' strike ended too, there was a little bit of a pop from Disney that they were really kind of starting to do some work on both Fantastic Four and X-Men.
Yeah.
So that may lend something to it, but I mean X-Men. I mean, it, Wolverine, I would think would get a bigger pop from being in Deadpool than he would be from the fact that
Yeah.
they're doing some work on X-Men.
I agree. I agree. And then our next book here is another one of those books that it's been on this list a few times, but it still hasn't had that like, oh, people are going crazy for this book. And that's the Avengers Annual 21. This features the first appearance of Victor Timely. All
Hmm.
right. And now, Paul, can you tell me who Victor Timely is? Or how
Victor,
people know who he is?
well, if you happen to watch the Loki series, you know
Mhm,
that Victor Timely is a Kang variant.
mhm,
And he actually was taken back to the TVA in episode 3 of Loki, I believe. He
mhm.
first appeared in the after scene credits for Ant-Man and the Wasp:
It
Quantumania.
was just a scene of the movie of the TV show. That's all they did.
Right,
They made it an
exactly,
after
exactly,
credit scene, which was the exact scene
right,
from the show.
right.
Mhm.
But rumor has it that although it was Jonathan Major was supposed to be the big bad and everything, that Disney may be souring on Jonathan Major again, and so they may have actually, even in the Loki series, have kind of not going to be Kang who's going to be the big bad anymore. It's going to be Miss Minutes instead. So
Yeah. And Miss Minutes, man, who would have thought she was so psychotic, man? I
I
know she's an
know
AI.
she's a cute little
Did
AI
you
thing,
did you see that one scene? Spoiler, guys, in Loki, where they're killing off all the TVA soldiers, and she's literally like,
Mm-hmm.
yes. Now, shout out to Tara Strong, who is awesome. She's an awesome voice actor,
Yep,
and I love hearing her. She was Harley Quinn. She did a lot of
yep.
stuff there, so she is awesome. She must be having the time of her life with this character, Miss
Mm-hmm.
Minutes. So hey, we got Brian in the house. What's up, Brian LCS? How you doing? All right, so we have this book here. It's definitely gaining some momentum because now Victor Timely is a character. In the last episode of Loki, whoo, did you see that ending coming?
I did not see episode 4. I only saw episode
Okay,
3 where they brought him.
I'll let you in on a little thing. The
Okay,
ending is a bit of a shocker. That's all I'll
okay,
leave it.
okay.
Without spoiling too much for you, but definitely go check it out. It's actually a pretty solid episode, I'll say.
Hmm.
All right. Our next book here is Spider Woman #1. This is the debut of the new costume and the origin of Spider Woman, Jessica Drew. In this book, this is not her first appearance, but this is the iconic costume where
Hmm.
they fixed it because originally she had a skull cap, if you
Right.
remember,
Yep.
which is awful. It just looks like I don't even know what they were thinking at that moment. It just didn't look right. How do you feel about this book? I know it's a $75 book and probably is worth more than that.
Yeah, I mean, I think when did it? 78.
Mhm.
So this was probably one of the earlier, women heroes who kind of paralleled a male hero.
Yeah.
So I definitely can see where it would. Although it seems to me that she's kind of. I mean, I have not heard a peep from her in God knows how long.
Yeah, they're keeping her close to the chest, but it's because she's a spider character by name, right? Even though when you read the comic book, she's not really associated with Spider-Man. It's kind of
Mhm.
weird. Um, but she is a spider character, right?
Right.
She falls under that Spider Verse. In this particular instance, there's discussions of her getting her being part of a Sony verse, which I don't know where that's going now. That seems to be very quiet right now because
Hmm.
they pushed back Craven another year. Who knows if we're ever gonna get this Madam Web movie come out? I
Hmm.
personally I don't care because I never care for Madam Web like that. Um, but I guess that's why it's here. I can't see other reason other than people probably wanted to pick it up just in case.
Hmm.
Now, a book that I do understand is here, right? Which actually has been quiet for a little while, but now it's back on the limelight, and that's
Hmm.
Avengers 8, the true first appearance of Kang,
Right.
the Conqueror, right? The
Hmm.
original version. So
Yep.
I always love this cover though.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Any villain who can pull off purple, I'm all for.
Yeah, purple with those boots, man. With
Right.
those go-go
Exactly.
boots, man. Those swoosh. The funny thing is, like, doesn't he remember that candy when we were kids that was like on a piece of paper that just dipped like dots?
Yeah. Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
what that looks like.
It was called candy paper or something like that. I think is
Yep.
what it was
Yeah,
called,
something
wasn't
like
it?
that.
Or
So
paper
that's what's
candy or something.
stopping the Avengers.
Yep.
Paper candy. Mhm. Now, here's a book that I keep kicking myself. I actually kick myself for the one that came before this one. That's NYX number 4. This is the second appearance of X-23.
Right.
I used to have the NYX 3. I had that book,
Right.
and
Hmm.
I sold it before she became big, a big
Right.
character.
Right.
And every time I look at where the price of that book is going, there's tears that come down
Right.
my side.
I do actually. I mean, again, I'm not a big Marvel fan, but I do own NYX number three, and I'm guessing that this may be trending because NYX 3 may be pricing some people out, and so more people may be going for the second appearance instead.
Mhm. Yeah, and I think this one's more. This cover is a better cover of who she is, even though the other
Hmm.
cover they kind of have her like a streetwalker in that one,
Right.
but it's like it doesn't really look like her. It's like it could be her,
Hmm.
but this one definitely. Oh, the claws definitely tell you this is has something to do with Wolverine,
Hmm.
right?
Right.
And it's a cool character to say the least.
Yeah.
All right, our next book here, I think it's because of Dynamite Comics is
Hmm.
the reason why this book is here, and that is Marvel Premiere number 50. This is the first comic adaptation of Alice Cooper.
Hmm.
What's your thoughts on Alice Cooper?
Well, he just didn't they just recently print like 8 million different covers of Alex Cooper in the Dynamite that you said there was like a
Yeah,
million covers. I remember seeing them on their shelves.
yeah.
Um, I kind of thought it was here because of Halloween, but that could just be me.
It's a little bit of
Um,
both, I'll say.
right. And who doesn't really want the first appearance of Alex Cooper in comics? So
Mhm.
it's like
Yeah.
Marvel was famous for doing these. I mean, I remember in the '70s they had David Letterman was in a comic.
Mhm.
Saturday Night Live was in a comic with Marvel. They did all sorts of things with real people in
Mhm. And
comics.
and this one was cool because looking at this cover, it does have that EC vibe to it. It's
Yep.
made to be a homaging the EC comics, but with Alice Cooper is even better. And
Hmm.
at the height of his career during '79, you know what I mean? That was just cool to see. So that book is here, obviously because of Dynamite's comics as well as Halloween. So it's kind of like hand in hand. We got
Hmm.
DVH. The doctor is in the house. Who? Welcome. We also have 80s guy is in the house. What's going on? All right. Our next book here, another Uncanny X-Men. That's Uncanny X-Men 109. First appearance of Weapon Alpha, who will later become the Vindicator.
Hmm.
Another book that's in this list that people are looking for, but I don't really understand why it's trending. Doesn't make sense to me. I don't
Yeah.
know. I haven't heard anything about Alpha Flight or anything like
I
that.
was saying it's not the first appearance of Alpha Flight, so it's
No.
yeah.
It's just there, even though I always loved his costume. I think his costume was so
Yeah.
perfect. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
The half maple leaf, right? So
Yeah, the
on the
maple
on
leaf.
the front. Yeah.
Hmm. Yep. So 330 on a high, man. That is pretty high.
Mm.
All right, now we got another debatable comic book, and that is Amazing Spider-Man 299. This features the second cameo appearance of Venom. But is it? Is it really? What's your take on this one?
I have two. I have what I feel. I
Mm-hmm.
think that the first appearance of a character is the first appearance of a character. I don't care
Mm-hmm.
whether they're a cameo, that's the first appearance. Okay, um,
Mm-hmm.
but obviously you buy by if you're speculating, if you're investing, you go by what the market says, and if the
Yeah.
market says it's something else, then that's what you go for. But I'm a diehard. What, Incredible Hulk 180 is the first appearance of Wolverine.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, not 181, but 181 demands $1. So if you're looking to invest, go for
Mm-hmm.
181, and 182. Obviously, it is it's not a,
Mm-hmm.
a paltry book either, but
Yeah.
it's not on the same thing. So
So
yeah,
would you go with this one as being his first appearance?
I think 300 is the one that demands. Yes, I think I would go with this one as his first appearance.
Especially
Um,
since he's in the cover. You get a
right.
full fledged
Yep.
appearance of Venom at the very end. It's a cool appearance too. It's a good
Yep.
like he just like you know what I mean that little devious look in his face,
Hmm.
which is great. So yeah, I could see why this one's here because 300 is starting to get to that blue chip level where it might be unattainable for some people.
Hmm.
So what best to get 140 the 140 299 at
Right.
140 is what they're asking for. Um,
Hmm.
and Chance is actually such a cool looking character. I always like Chance.
Right.
Yeah. So go check this one out. If you get it, pick it up. Another book is here. We talked a little bit about it, and that's Void Rivals #1. We talk about the Energon universe. This
Hmm.
is the book that kicked it off.
Hmm.
You know,
Yep.
I'm enjoying it though. I'm definitely
Yeah, it's
enjoying it.
funny because this came out at the same time as the last Transformers movie, where they had the GI
Perfect
Joe at
timing.
the end and everything. So the timing was
Mhm.
perfect.
It was perfect timing. The book is solid. Jetfire shows up at this point. Everybody should know it's Jetfire by now. Jetfire shows up. He does a little cameo, then disappears. But it was like again, it was quiet. It wasn't like people knew, but people didn't know. You know what I
Hmm.
mean? It was like there was something going on. Right? We got Dagger cards in the house. What's up, Dagger cards? Yep, you could say the same thing for Bishop and Gambit. And in Bishop case even more because they really announced Bishop's first appearance as the other book rather than the book that came afterwards
Hmm.
because he's in the cover of the first one. Mhm. All right. Now we got Amazing Spider-Man 14. This one's in the list because of the first appearance of Hallows Eve.
Which
Excuse
I
me.
understand will be giving away tonight, if I'm not mistaken, right?
Yes, there will be a combo giveaway today, which will features Hallows Eve. Excuse me, something's in my throat. I think I'm out of a drink, but all right, there we go. All right, so Amazing Spider-Man 14 features the first appearance of Hallows Eve. What do you know about Hallows Eve?
Nothing other than it's October 31st.
Well, Hallows Eve is a really cool character. Um, she, I don't know if you label that she may be labeled as a villain, but she falls on more of an anti-hero approach. I'm gonna say, and her powers is very interesting because she has mask. So that's the reason Hallows Eve, right? So it has that the Halloween feel to it. Every mask she wears, like she has this mystical mask, and when she puts on the mask, she becomes that type of character.
Hmm.
So if she has a werewolf mask, she could put it on, and she'll become a werewolf. Or if she becomes a vampire, she could put a vampire mask on. She could become a vampire. That is something that's actually really cool, and I think they could take advantage of that some more. Her limited series that came out a few months ago was really good, and this week they're going to a day later, I guess they're gonna do the one shot, right? Because it comes out on Wednesday, which
Right.
is November 1st. So on All Saints Day instead of Hallows Eve. Maybe you should have thought about that, Marvel. But it's gonna be really cool to see this book. And this is her first appearance. Also, you have Chasm, which I don't know if people liked it as much, but he's also this is where we get to see Chasm make his debut. So it's actually a pretty good book to get at a good price. $8 is not bad at all. Mhm.
And an Alice Ross cover, and you can't
Yeah.
go wrong with an Alice Ross cover.
There's multiple covers of that book too. Another
Right.
book
Right.
here that I understand why this book is here, and that's the Incredible Hulk 449. This features the first appearance of the Thunderbolts.
Hmm.
All right. How do you feel about the Thunderbolts?
Um, I think that Marvel is doing it because they figured they needed a team. They didn't have the Fantastic Four and the X-Men at the time because they hadn't
Mhm.
finished their purchase of Fox, but they weren't
Yeah.
ready to go back to another event. They had finished their Avengers series, so I
Mhm.
think they ended up with saying, "Let's throw this team together." I don't know a lot about the Thunderbolts, other than I guess Harrison Ford may be in it now, right? Because he's playing.
Mhm.
He took over for
He's
the guy
in.
who died. I can't think of his name, right?
Sure.
Yeah, exactly, William Hurt. So I'm willing to. I mean, I certainly will see it when it comes out, but don't know a lot about the Thunderbolts. But I kind of feel as though it's in some ways it's an Avengers light kind of thing.
So the Thunderbolts are an interesting group of characters because when they first debuted, they were the new kids on the block type of team, right?
Hmm.
It was like a new team of superheroes. They came in during the time of Heroes Reborn. So
Hmm.
where the Avengers were gone, Fantastic Four was gone. They were all gone because of what happened to Onslaught. The Thunderbolts kind of came in to fill in the gap. That was the which they're kind of doing in the movies too, in a weird way, right?
Although
Now
it
that you
almost
mentioned
kind of
it,
seems
right?
like Julia Louis Dreyfus is putting this team together, and it's
Yeah.
almost kind of all kind of like
Swiss
anti heroes instead, you know?
Yeah, so it's very Suicide Squad Task Force S
Right.
type. However, in this particular instance, it was a little different. When they first debuted in Incredible Hulk 449, they were heroes. They were listed as heroes, and then they were going to get their ongoing series. In their ongoing series, and this is a spoiler alert for those of you who haven't read it, in the ongoing series, it turns out that the Thunderbolts were masquerading as heroes when they were actually the masters of evil, which included Baron Zemo. I
Hmm.
don't know if they want to go towards that route. It doesn't look like they're going towards that route in the movies.
Hmm.
What it does look like they're doing in the movies is like I mentioned, they're using the Julius Louis Dreyfus character who's serving somewhat like on the Man of Waller,
Amanda
and
Waller, yeah.
and they're gonna do kind of their version of a Suicide Squad.
Hmm.
Um, I hope they don't. I hope there's some element of the original Thunderbolts because there was some. What was great about that series is that they were clearly villains masquerading, but as the series goes on, some of them were like, "This hero stuff ain't that bad," and
Hmm.
I kind of want to stick to it. You know what I mean? So
Hmm.
that was the thing. So we'll see what happens. But this is their first appearance. As you can see, the high is going for 150 now. It's probably going to go up a little bit more because the movie hasn't come out yet. So
Hmm.
if you could get this for the cheap, I would say pick it up. And then after the movie, maybe see what's going on. But we got Kenneth Bird in the house. What's up, Kenneth? How you doing? All right. Our next book here is this is simply a cover by, and
Hmm.
this is Amazing Spider-Man 313. Because look at the lizard, man.
Hmm. That's a great cover.
All right. And then
Oh, look at
finally
this.
we got Miss Minutes herself. Whoo, she's not so nice, is she? Now, I don't know if Miss Minutes has debuted in the comics. Like, this is just a cover, but I'm
Right.
not sure if anybody knows in the chat. Has she ever debuted in the comics just yet? Or she's strictly been a TV personality? So, not sure.
Yeah.
E-Man, what's going on? All right. All right. Now we got to our new books of the week. Amazing Spider Man 36. It's Arthur Adams. It's Black Cat. Arthur Adams has been doing these portrait covers in the last couple of months
Hmm.
that have been going, people have been going crazy over. Alpha Flight number one, Amazing Spider Man 36. They're gorgeous. It's
Yeah.
Arthur Adams, man.
Hmm.
So this one comes out, this one came out this week. It's already on it came out last week, actually. It's
Right.
already on the top 10. It's 1 in 25. I think it's going for like $50 now.
Wow.
Yeah. Dirts, what's up, my homie? All right. And another book that came out this week. Now,
Last
this
week.
was a dealer incentives. So if you have a Lunar account as a dealer, you were supposed to get a copy of this book. Not everybody got it, I found out. And that's the Universal's Monsters Dracula number one. Now, this is coming out from Skybound. So Skybound's killing it with their books. And this one is written by James Tynion the Fourth.
Hmm.
So the interiors of this book are insane. I don't know if you got a chance to look at the interiors. So it has a very 30 Days of Night feels like Bill
Okay.
Templeton's style
Okay.
to it. Um, but yeah, how can you go wrong with Dracula on Halloween?
All right. Exactly. Exactly.
So that's the book here, and yeah, there is a high of 30, but not everybody got it. So this book might actually go up in value because it's so rare at the moment. Right. And then finally, another non-key that came out this week, and that is Star Wars Obi-Wan Kenobi #2. This is a E.M. Geist cover. It's the 1 in 25, which features Darth Vader in the tank.
Hmm. Yeah, I'm the Star Wars Mandalorian, the Star Wars Obi-Wan Kenobi. I'm I was disappointed when they first. I was excited when they first announced them, and then when I found out that they're just going to be retelling the series, it was a
Their
letdown for me.
adaptions. And it only gives them an opportunity to make covers out of them, right?
Right. Exactly.
It really is, because that's all you buy these books for now, because of the covers.
Hmm.
It's just it's a retelling of the stories, an adaptation like the old days. All right, you
Hmm.
got Comic Cap Collectible. I had a chance to meet Rich this weekend. It was fun. We were at Super Jersey, and then afterwards I went to the Queen's Comic Party. Now, thankfully, I was not there for the controversy that occurred. I was very happy to not be there for that. But if you don't know, something went down in Queen's Comic Party, and it wasn't a party.
Hmm.
So we got that going on. Those are the trending books for this week. And you ready to take a look at what's in the top 10?
Sure.
All right, so we got the top 10 for cover price as well as CBSI. So guys, here you are. Any standouts for you?
No, I mean a couple of the perennials that like the Secret Wars, the the I can't think the other one that you just showed, but I mean a lot of ones that are there. They appear on both lists. Not
Yeah,
surprising that on one of the lists, Taylor Swift is still holding
she's
strong.
still hot. She's a little
Yeah,
quiet now,
exactly.
but it's okay. It's time. It's gonna pick up.
Yeah,
I
exactly.
see. I see. Spawn is there. I bet you that's just dirt. That's just dirt.
Yep.
He just keeps buying.
Yeah.
He's buying all those spawns.
Yep.
Mhm.
Someone's
That's
got to
just
keep
him.
Spawn in business. So.
Yeah, got to keep Spawn in business, man. Exactly. So,
Mhm.
you know that when I look at those books, you saw the Arthur Adams book, you saw the
Right.
Dracula books. There was another book that underneath the walls, beneath the shadows, or something like that. That one was really interesting to me. But really, the same books are hot right now, so not going to be any different. Anyway, um, let's talk about what you got going on. So, what's your next show?
My next show will be next Monday. Again, we'll do the deep dive. We're going to do that one dropped this morning. The one
Mhm.
you're looking at here dropped this morning. Next week we'll have the finale of the Gotham War. It's the Gotham War Scorched Earth. So
Yeah.
that will be the finale that we'll do. And then next Wednesday, we'll do Guess That Key again. And we will have Aggressively Relaxing. and we will
Oh,
have Dale of Suspense on with
that
us.
should be fun. Those are
Yeah.
one of my favorite shows to watch. I'm really serious about that.
Mhm.
I love watching Guess That Key because I'm the one looking like, okay, what book is this? What book is this?
Right.
You,
Exactly. Yeah.
you, you know what
And
I mean?
the thing that I mean, some people have actually come on and told me that one of the reasons why they enjoy it, even coming on it, is because they actually learn a lot about some of the comics too.
Hmm.
Um, I can when Gary B the Casual Guy came on, we learned so much about the 70s and 80s, the DC sword and sorcery books, just by trying to guess what it was, which one it was that he bought, so I tell people that guess that key is not only good, but it's good for you.
Yes. Now I remember getting on the show, and I was in an episode with Dirt. So I was also in an episode with Comic Journey,
Hmm.
and what was interesting enough is that when the book is modern, it becomes harder to figure it
Right,
out
right.
as opposed to the older books. Why do you think that's the case?
Well, I think because there's just so much, that's more. I mean, there half of the stands nowadays are miniseries. It seems like,
Mhm,
so there's just such a dearth, and the modern is also the biggest age that we have of all of the
mhm,
ages that we do because we go from 1992, which is the when Image Comics was formed,
mhm,
up until whatever is on the shelf now. So we're talking, 20, 30 some years or whatever,
yeah.
31 years that you have to go. So that's why we kind of have to break down. If someone gets modern, you can bet that very soon afterwards we're going to start guessing to try to break down modern into a particular year as well. So
Okay, cool, good. Well, thanks. Make sure you guys watch his shows. Like I said, they're great shows to watch. Deep Dive is on Mondays,
mhm.
and Guess That Key is every other Wednesday. So there's no episode this week, is there?
Correct. Every other Wednesday at 9:30 Eastern.
And go check it out, man. It's really fun. All right, guys.
Thank
I
you.
do believe that we do have a link to your channel. So if you guys haven't had a chance to go into sectors 2815, make sure you hit them up, give them a subscribe, leave a comment. That's how it's done. You know what I'm saying, guys? Anyway, let's talk a little bit about what's new. Are you ready?
Hmm.
Let's do this. Now, Paul, I know you're a DC guy,
Yes.
but I start this show on Marvel. So,
It's
and
okay.
but we do have a very small window of comics that are happening this week. It's not a big week for comics because we're at the end of the month. So new books are scheduled for tomorrow for DC books, and then other books are scheduled for Wednesday, which will be the first. Well, with Marvel, we're going to start with everyone's favorite web slinger.
They're hoping.
Spider Boy number one. So the question of the day is, will Spider Boy be the next Miles Morales? Now, I asked you earlier a little bit about this, but I didn't want you to tell me because I want to
Hmm.
really hear your reaction to it.
Hmm.
What's your take on Spider Boy, and do you think he's the next Miles? And what I mean by Miles, I mean the next big Spider character.
No,
Okay. Now, tell me
because I
your explanation.
because I think that much like, and I'm going to compare it to DC.
Hmm.
Um, I think that you're reaching the saturation point in Spider characters.
Hmm.
I think that it's we already have a Miles. No one wants another Miles. Kind of like when they tried to do Batwing, when they tried to do the new Batman. We already have a Batman. That's the one that people gravitate to. To just do another Batman, I just don't feel as though. I think that we have just kind of reached the saturation point in Spider characters, and the Spider-Man books. I mean, I get it. There's so many Spider books because they sell. There's so many Batman books because they sell. I get
Hmm.
that. But I just think that you can't go to the well every so often and just create a new Spider-Man or a new Spider-Boy. To me that's the point that I think that the comic readers say, okay, you know what, that's too much.
Yeah.
I think they would rather see another book with Spider-Man in it because they know who he is than to say, okay, you know what, don't force feed me another new Spider-Man. I like the one that we have.
So why do you think Miles became that character? That when Miles debuted, I think there was a little bit of hate for Miles when he first debuted,
Hmm.
if I remember. But today he is as beloved as Peter is. Maybe
Correct.
if you ask a certain generation, their Spider-Man's Miles. You know what I mean? When you add
Yep.
an older generation, their Spider-Man's Peter. Like myself, I'm sure you're a Peter guy yourself, right?
Hmm. Right.
So so why do you think Miles ended up becoming this beloved spider character?
Because I think that it had been what Spider-Man was created in what 64, I think, right? Maybe some
63 is when it came out.
63, right? 63, right? So, and then he grew up, he got married. Now, let me ask you one question before I continue though. Had they undone the marriage of Peter and Mary Jane by the time they created
Yes.
Miles? They
Miles
had.
came way after that.
Okay, okay.
Mhm.
Regardless, Peter was now a young adult. He had been married. He had a steady job. He had all these good things, right? So this gave a new generation the opportunity to see a young Spider-Man or Spider-Boy, whatever you want to say it, and have all of the relationship and growing up and all those types of problems that everyone who had been following Spider-Man since the 60s had seen, but hadn't
Mhm.
seen them in so many years because their Spider-Man had grown up. So I think that spoke to a new generation. So I'm okay with every couple of generations if you create a new Spider-Man. I just think it's too soon to
Mhm.
expect another young Spider-Man to really kind of light the world on fire because everyone has Miles right now.
Yeah, and I think with Spider Boy, Spider Boy is everything that Stan didn't want Spider Man to be. In all fairness, right?
Right.
Because when Stan originally created Spider Man, the whole concept was to have a teenage superhero with real problems, but not be a sidekick. Because Stan hated the concept of sidekicks,
Right.
right? It made no sense
Exactly.
to him, right? And Spider Boy is a sidekick to Spider Man, who was never supposed to be a sidekick type character and shouldn't have a sidekick character. Now, my only curiosity about this Spider Boy thing is that there is a group of people that are really infatuated with the Spider Boy character. Now, I could see here from the votes we have here, we got 26 votes, that 15% of this audience says that he will be the next Miles Morales. 31% are not sure, so there's a little maybe, but more than half of you say hell no. So now the who cares line, I could care less.
Mhm.
But yeah, so I see this here. Spider-Boy is not interested. Miles is superb. Halloween. Okay, I can see that too. There's is really putting in his comments here. I see that. Um, but look at this. Miles over. Oh, I don't know. That's fighting words there where I come
There
from.
you go.
Peter will always be Spidey to me. I think what was great about Miles, and this is why we were able to accept him, is that he was a new generation
Hmm.
with the same concept and the same idea, and it wasn't force fed.
Right.
You know what I mean? It
Yep.
didn't feel force fed. It was like, no, he has all the same elements of Spider Man, and he's a younger character, and we're letting Peter grow. I
Hmm.
think that's what's going on. Now, another book that's coming out this week is The Ultimate Universe. And The Ultimate Universe is going to feature yet another new Peter Parker into the mix.
Who
So
is going to be married, right? Going to be married to MJ,
he's going
right,
to
and
be
have
married with
kids.
children.
Right.
Yes. So that book is going to come out today. Now, I'm curious to see where that's going to take us because I remember in New York Comic Con, they did mention that this version of Peter was going to be more like a Peter B. Parker version of Peter,
Hmm.
which I'm excited for. I'm excited for that. I want to see if they're going to go towards the route of renew your vows and things like that and see what Peter's life is like now that he is a father with children. So
Hmm.
I'm curious about that. So Ultimate Universe comes out this week. Another book that's coming out this week is White Widow, #1, which is Yelena is gonna get her own series, and now she's the White Widow. So that I can't remember her name because stay as the Black Widow. And then of course we have a reprint of the Infinity Comics. It's Jeff the Jeff verse #1. I love Jeff. He's one of my favorite characters. So so Jeff is coming out this week. All right. Also this week from Marvel, you got Magneto #4, X-Men 28. Speaking of Black Widow, you got Venom 27. We got Black Widow is coming in there. That's actually a pretty cool comic cover right there. And the Avengers #7. All right. So DVH thinks Spider-Boy is not going to be long term. If
Yep.
they want it to be long term, it's going to be long term.
Hmm.
The minute you see Spider-Boy in a cartoon, he ain't going nowhere. All right. And then you got Scarlet Witch #10, Doctor Strange #9, and the Soul Star Wars #40 is coming out this week. All right. Now let's get to your neck of the woods with DC Comics. We got 6 titles coming in for DC Comics. Believe it or not, it's mostly a lot of #1s.
Right.
Return of Superman 30th anniversary. Just last year, we did the death of Superman. The Return of Superman. What it wasn't was it a year long event? I felt like it was longer.
Well, the death of Superman was actually in April, I believe, this past year.
Yeah. Mhm.
I want to believe, or maybe it was November of
No, it
last
was
year.
last year. It's been a full year now.
Okay.
Mhm.
And so this is kind of the 30th anniversary. This is the
Mhm.
Adventures 500 that they did, where they had same thing. They're doing the diecast covers. You can get
Yeah.
7 different covers,
Mhm.
where they've gotten most of the gang back together again that wrote
Mhm.
the original stories. Most of the artists that did the original art. They're all doing internal work on this.
Mhm.
I think it's just kind of a nice way to say, hey, you know what? It's been 30 years. I mean, the whole story behind the death of Superman, I just think is amazing and kind of funny to me. You know how it all
It is
works.
a
So
funny story. It is definitely
yeah.
a funny story. I do like the fact that when he did die
Hmm.
and they did the funeral for the friend storyline, they gave it its longevity
Right.
to the point that some people actually did think, oh, he's really dead, even though we all knew he wasn't going to die, he wasn't going to stay
Right.
dead. But when they did the Return of Superman, like, oh yeah, he's coming back, and it really wasn't him.
Hmm.
And what I remember is how they were all saying one of these 4 is the real Superman,
Right.
and it turns out none of them were.
Right. Yep.
With the only one would be the Eradicator, right? That he would have been
He
the
had,
closest one.
yeah, exactly. He had some sort of Kryptonian type of technology or whatever. Anyway, so
Mm-hmm.
um,
Yeah. And
yeah, but yeah, it was
Spider Boy. I said Spider
yeah,
Superboy. The Superboy version, he ended up becoming a clone of not just Superman, but also Lex Luthor.
Lex Luthor, the two of them, right? Yep.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yep.
So
And then you had Hank Henshaw, who was the cyborg, and you had John Henry Irons, who was Steel.
mhm. Yeah, awesome. And I like the fact that with this book, they are going to do multiple covers.
Yep.
But what I do like is that each of those covers are going to be done by established artists. So there is going to
Right.
be like John Jen is going to do the cyborg. I know the Jen gang is going to go crazy over that one.
Hmm.
And there's some other artists that are going to be doing different covers as well, which is going to
Right.
be cool to look at.
And if you want a tricked out version of the cover that you see here, that also
Mhm.
will arrive in a foil version as well.
Yeah, and there'll be plenty of these.
Hmm.
All right, Supergirl special #1 is also coming out this week,
Hmm.
and Batman, Catwoman, the Gotham War, Scorch Earth #1. What's this one about?
So the Gotham War is kind of interesting. The whole thing is um, Batman at the end of the last series was kind of at the end of Night Terrors. He was kind of knocked unconscious. He was unconscious for like 8 weeks, and
Mhm,
in the course of 8 weeks, Catwoman basically took over Gotham City and basically hired all of the henchmen of all of the Gotham rogues, and basically said, come work for me. I won't, threaten to kill you like the person you work for now does. I will protect you. Basically, what will happen is you go, you steal from me. When you come back, you get a percentage of whatever you steal, and then we also give a percentage to help feed the hungry, and whatever, it goes to charity. And so while Batman was busy sleeping for 8 weeks, the crime in Gotham City like plummeted by like 75%. And so Batman woke up. He basically was got in the face of Catwoman and said, you know what, she wanted him to let these people steal, and Batman is like, stealing is stealing. If they're stealing, it's a crime. I don't care if you're doing it and you say that in the end it's it's for good. Stealing is stealing, and I'm going to do whatever I can to put these people in jail. And
Mhm.
so they kind of split the Bat family kind of splits down the middle. You have Damian who sides with Batman. You have Jason and the Red Hood who kind of sides with Catwoman, but for his own reasons. You have, Batgirl and, Nightwing just kind of trying to see, if they can kind of stay on top or whatever. Then we see Vandal Savage comes into the picture, and he is in Gotham. His daughter is Scandal Savage, who is Marquis, who was in prison with Catwoman. They have their own agenda. They're using these people that Catwoman has recruited to steal valuables like gems that are actually part of the original meteor that fell to Earth that gave Vandal Savage his ability to be
Mm.
immortal, and actually ended up being the part of the Lazarus pits as well. And so he is having them steal all of these to gather them all in Gotham City and to make everyone, to make them all immortal. So, um, Paul, the summary is supposed to be shorter than the comic. And then on page two, Taylor, what happens is, um, and so we're at the end now. This is the final bookend. There was a prologue. There was, and now this is the bookend. This is the end of where it's going to be, and we'll see what happens at the end. So
So there you have it.
yeah,
In case you don't want to read the Gotham War, you just got a full synopsis of the story.
that's
And
right.
Trev says, "Great synopsis."
And you can also see all of these on my channel under DC Comics Deep Dive. So
Also coming out this week from DC, you got the adaptation of Aquaman and the Lost Kingdom special. I take it
mhm,
this is probably going to be a prequel to the movie in some way, like they did with the Flash story.
correct.
It's
Yep.
it's nice that they do that. That they have a something that correlates with it, because that's something I don't like when they don't do anything for the comics. Right? You go see the
Right.
movie, you want to go get the comic. Also coming out this week, Detective Comics 1076 and Spirit World number 6. So
Mhm.
DVH is passing on all of these three. Okay.
Yeah, Detective Comics. This is part of Ram V's huge, sprawling series that he's doing as part of Detective Comics.
Mm-hmm.
It's like it was like Batman Overture, but this is actually Detective Comics. Starting with tomorrow's issue is going bi-weekly
Mm,
for November and December, I believe.
yeah.
Doing I think it's a 5-part series called Batman Outlaw. That Ron V is doing. So this it starts tomorrow because the last Detective Comics just came out last week.
Yeah. That sounds so original.
Mm. Yeah, exactly.
All right. So that's your DC books. Image is pretty light this week as well. This is 6 titles from Image, which includes Skybound. There's not much, but there is a new book called The Blood Commandment. So that sounds pretty interesting. Um, for Durs, you got King Spawn. Number 27 is coming out this week. That's a pretty interesting cover right there. That's something right there. The Sacrificers issue number 4 is also coming out this week, as well as the Untold Tales of I Hate Fairyland number 5, No One 6, and The Walking Dead Deluxe 76.
Mm.
So DVH is passing on all of them.
Wow. Okay.
All right, we got Shop for Comics. What's going on, Shop? Shop, you got a little typo there. You might have to fix that. Easy verse. All right. And over in our indie books, again, it's a light week for everybody, but you got Dark Horse is going to have 7 titles. Scott says they have 7 titles. I can never guarantee with Scott Comics. IDW is going to have 4 scheduled. Boomis has 4 scheduled. Vault has 3 scheduled. One that we should look out for. And Dynamite Entertainment has 5 scheduled. So let's take a look, starting with Dark Horse. You got a book here from Scott Snyder. Canary is coming out this week. Now, this is a Substack book, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
So this is not this. It's the first time it comes to print. But if you wanted to
Right.
read the story, you can read the story over a Substack, I believe. Or is it Comicology? I don't remember with Scott Snyder. But it's definitely one of those books. Stranger Things, The Voyage number 1. Star Wars Hyperspace Stories, issue number 10. Midnight Show number 2. Also from Dark Horse, you have Usagi Yojimbo,
Jimbo.
Ice and Snow number 2. Masters of the Universe, Forge of Destiny number 3. And Tear Us Apart is coming out for Dark Horse. Over at Scout Comics, these are the books that are scheduled. A Haunting on Mars, a horror story set in Mars. I actually am interested in that.
With some very EC like trade dress.
Yeah, I know, and that is a freaky cover, to say the least. Also, Snow White Zombie Apocalypse number 4. Speaking of Snow White, they just released an image of the Snow White movie for Disney that's coming out. It was scheduled for next year. Now they pushed it a full year.
Mm.
It's freaky. It just looks weird. But who knows? Count Dante number 4. Midnight Western Theater Witch Trial number 2. And Charm City number 2. Miracle Kingdom number 3. And the Traveler's Guide for Florida. Those are coming out for Scott Comics. Over at IDW, you got Godzilla, Here There Be Dragons. My Little Pony has 2 books with My Little Pony 18, My Little Pony Camp Big Hoof number 4, and Star Trek Strange New Worlds, The Scorpius Run. DVH, I'm sure DVH is going to pick up some My Little Pony books.
Right? I'll be getting the Star Trek Strange New Worlds.
There you go. Legion of Comics is here. We are Legion. All right. What's up, Mark? All right. So those are those books that are coming out for IDW. Over at Boom Studios, you got a new title called The Space Between, Ghost Lord number 6, Buffy the Vampire Slayer number 4, and Ranger Academy number 2. All right, for anybody who is a Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, that's probably a good book for you to pick up. So Mark really likes the Godzilla book, but then again, it's Godzilla, man. How can you not like
surprise.
Godzilla? You know, I love Godzilla. He's my boy.
Exactly.
He's Godzilla over Kong. I'm sorry. Another book comes out this week. Now, this book is very important to us because Unnatural Orders.
That sounds familiar.
Yeah, Unnatural Orders, the original title, is scheduled to come out this week. However, if you're part of C3 event, you know that we have a special edition that's out there still. I believe there's still maybe some copies still available. I know Mark's in the chat right now. Look at sorry, man. The king.
I think they were there. Last I knew, they were waiting another shipment to come in of the
I think
order. I think
Matt still had a couple of copies left behind. So, so looking at DVH's tech, yep. Some of us might already have Unnatural Orders number 1. So, I know I have a copy.
I have a copy.
Right? Another book that's there is The Nasty. I remember The Nasty. It's been a while since we've seen The Nasty, but it's finally back. The Nasty is pretty cool. I actually like The Nasty, that story. It's pretty cool. And Sainted Love number 2 is also out this week. Over at Dynamite, you got Savage Red Sonja number 1, Gargoyles Dark Ages number 4, and Alice Cooper. We were talking about Alice Cooper earlier. There's an Alice Cooper book coming out this week as well over at Dynamite. That's a pretty cool cover for Alice Cooper. I like that cover.
It is. They should have done that like with a glow in the dark type thing.
He has a quote means I like The Nasty.
that'll be a meme.
All right. Also in Dynamite Victory number 5, Vampirella Dead Flowers number 2. And Antarctic Press has 2 books this week. You have Mary Machine Gun number 4, Jungle Comics 21 as well. Alice Cooper 2 is tempting but pass. It's always worth a try. It's Alice Cooper, man. All right. Over at Ablaze, you have a new title called Almost Dead number 1, Traveling to Mars number 9, and Saint Seiya, The Knights of the Zodiac Time Odyssey number 2. Those are coming out for Ablaze Comics. And over at American Mythology, Night of the Living Dead, King number 2. Let's see if DVH is going to pick any other one. Trevor's already asking, where's the Taylor Swift comic? Someday it's coming. Also,
she's going to be the queen of all media, just like Howard Stern is the king of all media.
When those books come out, man, there is a print of Taylor Swift as Dazzler. It does exist. It exists. So be on the lookout for that. Bombshell and Tom Tom #2 is also from American mythology. And over at New Red Comics and the new Red 5 Comics, I believe it is, Dying Days #1, Promethean in Chains #3. Taylor Swift over Godzilla. Oh no, pass on that one, man. Godzilla rules, man. You can't beat Godzilla. He'll fire her up. All right. And then we got Titan. You got Heat Seeker, the Gun Honey series, #4. Street Fighter Omega #1. Titan Mouse of Might #5. And Under a Blood Red Moon over from Dren Productions #4. When did I drew it? I want to know what did I draw? So those are your books for this week. So what are you planning to pick up?
I will be getting multiple covers of the Return of Superman because I said they're doing the die cut like they had done in the original issues that they did back in the 90s. So I definitely will be getting that. I will be getting Detective Comics. I don't. Not a lot. It's a small week for me as well. So
Yeah, are you not going to get Spider Boy?
probably not.
I'm getting it. I have it waiting. So solid week. This is a perfect example when typos go wrong. This might be one of the greatest typos I've ever seen. Oh man, I love typos. I go through them all the time. So, so thank you for that one. Let's see here. $10 a pop. Oh, $10 a pop. They're gonna be $10 each.
Yeah,
That's hard.
it's a small week for DC. So luckily, some stuff that I might have bought on other weeks, I can divert some of that money to getting some of the die cuts. So
yeah, but if you think about it, if you buy 4 die cuts,
yep,
you will be spending $40.
Right. And Mark explains. He explains that was not a typo.
That was
He
not
knew
a
what he
typo.
exactly.
And Beckerman concludes that it was not a typo.
We knew.
Hey, what's up, Daniel? Daniel always seems to show up like that at the very end, but it's always good, man. He's jacked. He's jacked. All right, guys, it's time for a giveaway. Let's do the giveaway here. And with that said, let's do the music. Let's cue in the video. Ooh. All right, let's show everybody what today's giveaway is going to be. It's going to be the 3 comic books you see here. We do got the Harley Quinn, the Zulu cover, special Halloween cover, Hallow's Eve, the Big Night #1. And you know what? We get some older books. We got Ghost Rider 2099. This features the werewolf. So those are going to be your books there. You know what? If you are a channel member, I'm going to let you guys in on something. If you are a channel member, I'm going to throw in Spider-Boy #1. But the best part is I'm going to throw in a blank of Spider-Boy. And you will not receive a blank in it. So there will be an image on it. So we'll throw that in there for channel members. So if you are a channel member and you win today's giveaway, you will get a Spider-Boy blank comic with some art inside of it. So with that said, some of you might already you already know what to expect. So let's go ahead and get that screen share up. You guys already know what it is. It's Izzy versus NYC. All right, we got 12 people already here out of 23 people watching. So we got 14. Let's get. So Taylor Winder says Spidey tramp stamp. Sure, why not? Let's throw that. Yeah, you see, that's what I know. I'm smart enough not to do things like that where I say, hey, if we hit this, I'm gonna do a tattoo. That's not my thing. You know what I'm saying? So cool. But we got everybody coming in. All right, get that entry. We got 19 entries. Squishy Potato, what's up, Squishy? All right. Let's keep the tramp stamp going. Trev, are you saying you want a tramp stamp? All right. We got 21 entries. What do you say, Paul? Should we do it?
Do it.
Let's do it right now. Let's see who wins. This should be a good one. And the winner is Ryan Riley. Congratulations, Ryan Riley. You win the books. Ryan, hit me up on Instagram so I can gather your information. Give me some time because I'm still sending stuff out from C3 and other items. I do have a lot. I got a pile of stuff I have to ship out pretty soon. So give me some time for that. But congratulations, Ryan Riley. You know, this is actually your first win with us, so I'm really happy, man. Paul, thank you from the bottom of my heart. I really appreciate it.
Thanks for having me.
Someone else wants to tell you thank you as well.
Thank you. Thank you.
Oh, that's so nice. I'll take the blue pill.
You take the blue pill, right? So he wanted to say thank you. He wanted to take the opportunity. He said, Paul's going to the show. He's my favorite. You know, Paul, where can they find you?
They can find me on Instagram at sector__2815 or on sector 2815 here on YouTube.
Cool. And now let's go. You guys, it's already started. The Monday night lineup continues with S Vaughn 82. This is an old image. I just caught that right now. Delete the overlay. Let's get the right overlay up here. I gotta put the right overlay up here. I don't know how it happened. I'm an old guy. That's what happens. He's gonna have a special Halloween show, and it's featuring actual Dracula. Actual Dracula's gonna be there, and then afterwards, you got Between the Lines with Bleecker. So that should be fun. Alternates with 22, and a couple comics is happening as well with CGC Raw unboxings. So that should be fun. And then all the way in the end, you got Carlos Connects comics. Those are that's part of your Monday night lineup. Guys, it's been a blast. We'll see what happens next week. We'll see who shows up next week. Maybe Josh will be here. Maybe Josh won't be here. Who knows? But enjoy your Halloween. Be safe. Do not do anything crazy. And do not eat too many candy corns, guys. Enjoy the Halloween season and watch a good Halloween movie. I know I'm going to be watching The Crow because that's my movie to watch. I love watching The Crow. That's one of my favorites. Until next time, guys, Excelsior.